Hey guys, Rukshan here. Great to be back making videos after a little break that I took there for a week or so in New Zealand. Got some good news, actually. That is that RMIT Factlab, one of the chief fact checkers, so-called fact checkers here in Australia, has been suspended from the Meta, so Facebook, fact-checking program here in Australia because they are not certified. And they haven't been certified for almost a year. Can you believe that they've been working in this fashion for almost a year, fact-checking everyday Australians with what I, in my opinion, consider as mostly nonsense, misinformation, and deliberate disinformation? Again, in my humble opinion, these fact-checkers always seem to get it wrong. And it's great to see that Meta is actually enforcing its policies, but only after some international exposure and after a great spotlight write-up from Sky News Australia. But I have to say that, myself, going back a month or so, helped expose some of these documents when I was investigating Avi Yemeni's defamation case against RMIT Factlab. And in there, I found this document, this confidential agreement that was a part of the court record. I took that document, I read through that document, and you would have seen, if you follow that story, you can go back and look on my page. There were some interesting facts there, right? We found out that these fact checkers are financially incentivized, even though they take donations and pretend like they have no financial incentives to be doing what they're doing. We know that Facebook was paying them potentially per fact check. We know that they could potentially earn, according to the most recent reports, around $700,000 per year from doing this type of fact checking that they were doing on everyday Australians, these high and mighty fact checkers. Well, it turns out in that agreement, there was also clauses there which said that to be a part of the Meta fact checking program, they had to be certified under the International Fact Checking Network or whatever organization that they have to be certified through. Well, it turns out that RMIT Factlab has been afoul of that certification now for months and months. Yet they continue to fact-check Australians, and most recently they were fact-checking Australians on the Voice to Parliament, and they ended up fact-checking Sky News, who then ended up running this entire expose that was picked up by international press, including shared by Elon Musk, one of these linked stories. And that, of course, has led to Meta, when questioned by Australian senators, writing this letter to them saying that we've decided to suspend RMIT Factlab from the program because, they're not certified. So we'll wait till they're certified. So it looks like it's temporary suspension. But also we've received complaints about RMIT Factlab and their so-called non-biased approach to fact-checking, because it turns out from that Sky News investigation that some of these fact checkers at RMIT have particular views on the Voice to Parliament referendum. I mean, no one should be surprised by this, that people have views and opinions on them, but these are views and opinions that they express openly on social media sometimes, including the director of RMIT Factlab. So if they are able to share opinions, have these debates, but at the same time they're stifling important discussions that Australians should be having during this time, during this referendum, on important points of contention, if they are then stifling those debates by using this awesome power that Meta has given them to control and censor people, literally that's what they're doing when they apply these restrictions and strikes on their pages and posts. Well, yeah, there's a bit of a problem there. Forget about the certification. I think there's a lot of issues here with RMIT Factlab, and hopefully Meta does a thorough enough look at this, and hopefully this so-called fact-checking network that hasn't certified many other fact checkers who are on their list, including, last time I checked, ABC, Checkmate, or whatever they call themselves. They're also not certified last time I checked. Should they be suspended as well? There are so many problems with how this industry operates, and to think that, when we were doing investigative journalism work on this, and as pointed out by many others online to me, that other people had also noticed that, forget about the court document, people had also noticed through the IFCN website that they were not certified. I mean, these are things that regular people were constantly seeing. And yet Facebook, this massive company with all these resources, talking about this type of transparency and how strict their programs are and how important it is to protect democracy and fight misinformation and disinformation. If they themselves are not keeping tabs on who are in their programs, it goes to show you how dodgy this entire industry is, right? This entire fact-checking industry is complete and utter nonsense. And this is just the first step in exposing them to the public. And if you want to look up these stories, just go to Google, type RMIT, they'll all show up. You know, this is a university whose name has now been tarnished as well, right? This is a university. They should not even be involved in this type of deliberations. You know, university should be a place of thinking, of debate, of ideas coming together, and you know, people kind of etching it out in that forums. But now they're involved in censoring people, even while they're not certified, and they themselves didn't do anything to notify the public that they were not certified, right? Well, they were censoring people. Quite disgusting, if you ask me, and very problematic. And Meta has done the right thing here and taken the correct measures and correct steps against this very dubious institution, RMIT Factlab, and suspended them. Now, my intuition tells me that this will be somewhat temporary and all of a sudden magically they will be recertified. But you have to understand, public trust is everything. And you got to get the word out. Let people know that RMIT Factlab has been fact-checked, as it were, by the people of Australia, by independent journalists, by Sky News, by other institutions out there, by myself, by Rebel News, whoever it is. Let people know they've been fact-checked, they've been exposed. It wasn't very hard to do. It just took a bit of time. But we are winning these small battles against these dodgy institutions. And the more that we keep an eye on them, right, the more that they get exposed in this way. And I think that's why they keep these agreements, confidential. That's why they try to do everything in secrecy. And that's why we have to keep exposing them, because they want to, belittle our ability to debate. They want to stop us from communicating with each other. They want to stop us from having these very logical arguments sometimes against the point of view by introducing so-called experts who are just, left-wing activists most of the time, right? Nah, they got another thing coming. So anyway, guys, if you're enjoying my work and you support the type of work that I do, you can follow along on X at The Real Rukshan, on Rumble, Odyssey, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm having a few issues there on YouTube, but I'm still there. Follow along, guys, at The Real Rukshan, or search up Rukshan Fernando. I'll be coming to you guys with more videos very soon. See you next time.